Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Fanatics. Today we're going over Marvel Phase 4 movies coming up soon, updated for the changes in schedule because of Corona. First up is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, coming out in August of 2020. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be a new TV show starring the Falcon, a member of the Avengers last seen in Endgame when Captain America passed on his shield after living in the past for several years. And Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, another friend of Cap's, dating all the way back to when they were both children. The show is being created by Malcolm Spellman, who worked on Empire, as well as Derek Kolstad, who created John Wick. It looks like the plot will be centered around Bucky and the Falcon being outlaws, and the US agent being introduced as a government-appointed Captain America. Next is Black Widow, coming out November 6th, 2020. Since Natasha Romanoff sacrificed herself to obtain the Soul Stone during Avengers Endgame, this movie will be a prequel, said to take place between Civil War and Infinity War. Scarlett Johansson will be joined by Florence Pugh, who will play Natasha's fellow Red Room alumnus and another Black Widow, Yelena Belova. They were trained the exact same way, highlighted in their fight during the trailer. They will be joined by David Harbour, appearing as the Red Guardian, the Soviet counterpart to Captain America, and Natasha Romanoff's late husband. We also know that Taskmaker, a mercenary who can mimic the fighting style of any opponent he crosses paths with, will be one of the main villains of the film. Third will be WandaVision. Releasing in December of 2020, WandaVision is a TV show centered around Wanda Maximoff, also known as Scarlet Witch, and Vision being played by Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. In the trailer, we see a supercut of Wanda and Vision in several different sitcom realities, even being pregnant in one. Wanda Maximoff is best known for her reality-altering powers, which she's best known for from the House of M comic series, where she loses her mind and resets reality over and over again, swapping in and out of alternate universes. In that series, she has two kids named Wiccan and Speed, who are both hinted at in the trailer when Wanda stands in front of two cribs and two pacifiers are spat out. So far, from the trailer, it looks like WandaVision will be adapted from the House of M series. After WandaVision, releasing February 2nd of 2021, is Eternals. The idea behind the Eternals is that sometime in the early days of man, the Celestials, who were basically cosmic scientists traveling around the world performing experiments, showed up to Earth and modified the genes of early men into three separate groups. The Eternals, the Deviants, and humans with modified genes that didn't start to show up until thousands of years later, which are the Mutants. Eternals could serve as a good movie to give fans a background into the history of Celestials like Ego, Eternals like Thanos, and even as a way to bridge to having mutants like the X-Men in the MCU. Next up is the TV show Loki, coming out in the spring of 2021, with Tom Hiddleston coming back to play the main role of Loki. In Endgame, we saw a past version of Loki escape, portaling away with the Space Stone and creating a new timeline which doesn't have the experience Loki went through in Thor the Dark World and Ragnarok, which make him into less of a bad guy. He is still dead, killed by Thanos, so the Loki we're likely to be seeing is the jackass villain we saw in the first Avengers film, highlighted by this in the trailer.
I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
And after Loki, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out May 7th, 2021. Shang-Chi is also known as the Master of Kung Fu, and is in a way Marvel's version of Bruce Lee. In the MCU, the Ten Rings first appeared as the name of a terrorist organization that kidnapped Tony Stark in the first Iron Man.
They called themselves the Ten Rings.
Recent violence has been attributed to a group of foreign fighters referred to by locals as the Ten Rings.
In Iron Man, the group was led by Raza, who made a deal to trade Tony Stark as part of a secret arms deal. Later on in the movie, we found out the Ten Rings were a much larger organization, with the group that took Iron Man being just one franchise of many. In the comics, we see the real head of the organization is the Mandarin, who is later thought to be shown in Iron Man 3, however, in the movie it was just an actor, not the real one. In the comics, each of the Ten Rings contains the soul of a legendary cosmic warrior, and the Mandarin wore all 10, able to use their power. And hopefully in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, we're going to finally see the Ten Rings and the Mandarin in action. After Shanghai, we have What If coming out in the summer of 2021. What If is a new animated TV show adapted from the long-running Marvel comic series What If, which explores hypotheticals like, what if the Wolverine defeats the Hulk? What if Thanos joins the Avengers? And what if the Avengers become pawns of Korvac? A lot of the footage we've seen centers around the pilot episode, What If Maggie Carter received the Super Soldier Serum? We see Steve Rogers going into the lab to receive the serum, but before getting there, the room explodes and we see Peggy Carter in the chamber room looking ripped and carrying her own vibranium shield. Another episode we know about is what if T'Challa, the Black Panther, became Star-Lord, which would mean T'Challa would not become Black Panther, and since Michael B. Jordan will return in the What If series, it appears we may see what would have happened to Wakanda if Killmonger took over. Coming out July 26th of 2021 is the movie I'm looking forward to the most, Spider-Man 3. At the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, we saw J. Jonah Jameson using Mysterio's manipulated footage of Spider-Man to make him look like a villain, and also doxing him, revealing Spider-Man as Peter Parker. We don't have many hints about the plot of Spider-Man 3 yet, however, we can assume Peter will have the law after him because of Mysterio's footage. He may even face a villain, with J. Jonah Jameson making the villain look like the good guy, and him as the bad guy. Next up, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, coming out November 5th of 2021. We don't know much about Doctor Strange 2, however, we do know Sam Raimi is directing, and we also know it's going to be quite a bit of a horror because Scott Derrickson said this about it.
I mean, what excites me about Doctor Strange is what made him great in the comics, that he doesn't fight villains from this Earth or even from this universe, but from the multiverse and from other dimensions. So you get into all kinds of psychedelic weirdness, which this movie is going to. But when I came and talked to Kevin about doing a sequel, I said, I don't want to do just another sequel to do a sequel. If I'm going to do it, it has to go into the territory that drew me into the Doctor Strange comics in the first place, which is how they dipped into the gothic and the horror and the horrific, and we're going to make the first scary MCU film.
Yes! Yes! You had me at goth.
Yeah, you know what? No, it's PG-13, you're gonna like it.
I'm really excited to be at the dawn of this project, and I think it's vital to maintain the integrity of humor and stuff that we had in the first film, but with this twist of horror, which I think will really have people gripped.
And real quickly after, Benedict Cumberbatch said it would still retain its humor. We also heard a fan in the crowd yelling, R-rated movie, but Kevin Feige quickly said, no, PG-13 and you're gonna like it, making it clear that it's still gonna be more on the family-friendly side of things. We also think there's a chance Nightmare will be the main villain. If you imagine Dormammu combined with Freddy Krueger manifested in the physical main reality of the MCU, that's pretty much what he's like. After that, we have Hawkeye, the final TV show of Phase 4 coming in the fall of 2021. So far, we know that the show will be about Hawkeye after the events of Endgame, and Kate Bishop, a rich girl in a family with ties to shady mafia stuff who was saved by the Avengers and saw Hawkeye as her role model. She later became a young Avenger who will, during the series, at some point become the new Hawkeye after being trained by the current one. It's also confirmed by Kevin Feige that the Hawkeye series will cover some more of his time as Ronin, which was after Thanos' snap until Black Widow and War Machine came to get him. And now the final movie, Thor: Love and Thunder, coming out February 18th of 2022. So far we know the Guardians of the Galaxy are confirmed to be crossing over with Thor in this next film, shown in this interview with Vin Diesel, the voice of Groot.
Thor will also, the director talked to me about how Thor will incorporate some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which would be very interesting. Nobody knows, but maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
And recently, Valkyrie actor Tessa Thompson revealed Christian Bale will be the movie's villain.
Some familiar faces, some new people into the mix. Christian Bale is going to play our villain, which is going to be fantastic.
Possibly playing Gore, the God Butcher. Long ago, several of Gore's children died, along with his pregnant mate Agar. While wandering the desert praying to die, Gore witnessed a pair of battling gods, a dark elder god called Null and a gold-armored purple-skinned god. Gore was enraged when the gold-armored god begged for help, and with the help of the dark god's sword, All Black the Necrosword, he killed the gold-armored god, then vowed to seek vengeance against all gods for never answering his prayers and set out to kill them all. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, And if you have any Marvel video ideas the channels you like aren't making, let me know and I'll try to make some videos from your suggestions. Bye.